Hey, Pickleheads, if you're enjoying our podcast, please share it with a friend or two wherever you're listening. We appreciate your support.
You just got sponsored by Leo, right?
Yeah, it's not officially finalized, but I see that you have good sources already.
I don't know. I saw maybe it was from them. I think they already posted about it. But yeah, it looks good. They have nice clothes. It's a different material.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different, but they're really looking forward to get into pickleball, and they're a big pickleball fans. So that's
good.
always what I look for in partnership: people that are into it and not just you know just investors and they don't really care about it. So.
Yeah, not just trying to make a buck.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, is that a paid? Do they pay you plus they send you clothing, or do they just send you the clothing whenever you want?
Yeah, I mean, it's more like a sketcher deal with Catherine and Tyson, where there is a little bit of monthly stipend, some help for traveling purpose and representing the brand, and then also in terms of logos, what they allow and what they don't. If they don't allow you to wear many logos, then you need to have kind of some security just in terms that you're passing on some opportunity to make more money. So it depends from contract to contract. So for me, with Leo River, that's what has not been finalized yet. But yeah, it includes clothes and probably a little bit of stipend.
That'll be interesting. Are you wearing their
Nice.
clothing right now?
No, not yet, not
No.
yet. I'm still wearing, as you can see, this is a Nike right now.
Okay.
I didn't wear their clothes in the last tournament just for the reason that I don't have the logo from my other sponsors. For now, I need to print it out, like to make it to make the patch. And once I have all of that, I will probably play with their brand.
Sweet. That'll be good. Well, today we
Yeah.
have on the podcast Jay Devilliers, the stallion, the Flying Frenchman. Super excited to have him. So I'm just going to give a quick background on Jay, and then maybe he can correct anything if I'm wrong. So Jay, you're 6'3".
Sounds good.
Okay, sweet. You're 6'3", born in France, obviously, hence the nickname Flying Frenchman. Lives in Wichita, Kansas. And you have a couple kiddos, maybe 3. I know you have at least 2.
Yeah, I have three. Correct, 3 boys.
3. 3 boys. You had one not too long ago. I want to say he's probably around 6 or 7 months, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
You did your homework. Yeah. He's gonna be
Yeah?
7 months on the 13th this month. So tomorrow.
I just know that because I watched a tournament when he was a newborn and you were holding him, and I had just had my baby not too long ago, so he was probably like 2 months along when I had my baby. So I was noticing all the children around. Top 10 PPA player, depending on if you're going singles or doubles. That'll go up. And he is sponsored by Vulcan, Aloe MD. Pretty soon he'll be sponsored by Leo. I don't know how to pronounce the whole name. I think it's French, isn't it? Sounds French.
Leo goes for lion, and rêver means dream in French. So he's not French, he's American, but he was inspired by the French culture and the French history. So that's why he went with that name, because he felt like Leo is a strong. The lion is the strongest animal in the jungle, and it's a strong sign. So then he wanted the lion dreaming, pretty much. So Leo Rêveur.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, and I'm sponsored also by Beamer, and Pickle Fuel as well. That is an energy drink, which is not electrolytes, energy drink, and as well as Hyper Ice, that is helping a lot with products for recovery. So
Very cool. Our favorite sponsor of those is Vulcan. Best paddles in the game. Shout out to Vulcan. All right, I want to start out, Jay. Question for you. People like to Americanize your name. I don't speak French. I speak Spanish and English. But I think I can pronounce your name correctly in French. Are you ready for it? You tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
And then we'll hear
Let's
you say
hear
it.
it.
You ready?
Let's hear it.
All right. Jocelyn Devilliers.
That's pretty close. Very good. Very good.
I
I would approve. Devilliers. You shortened the syllabus a little bit from Devi, but otherwise you did very good. Jocelyn Devilliers.
Devilliers.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Nice.
it. Very cool. And so when did the nickname, the Flying Frenchman, come about?
Oof. I actually don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021. I remember when in 2020, that's when I decided to go pro full time and try to make a living out of it. And after March, it was COVID, everything was shut down. Decided to go back on the tour after in September. And yeah, from there, I was very active, trying to jump the kitchen, taking a lot of balls out of the air, moving around. At the time, the bird was becoming a thing as well. So I was trying that, experimenting a little bit everywhere. So I think it was end of 2020 and beginning of 2021 that nickname came along, just because I was ball hogging a lot on Patrick Smith and my mixed doubles partners as well. Still trying to figure out the game. So.
And do you like the nickname?
I'm okay with it. I got used to it. It was just funny when I heard it the first time, and then I didn't think it was going to be a thing, but yeah, no, it's a lot of people just remember me better just because of that nickname. So at least it was worth something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Spencer started watching in 2020. I started watching in 2021, but I remember seeing you guys out there, and you played a lot with Pat Smith. I know you've been playing with all kinds of different doubles partners, from Tyson McGuffin to DJ a lot. Do you guys have any plans, you and Pat, to play together in the future? Will we ever see that again?
Yeah, maybe. I have been... I've learned my lesson. Playing with the same player give you a lot of advantages, but also some disadvantages. So this is a year for me where I'm mixing partners a lot. So, there is definitely the possibility of a comeback of playing 1 or 2 tournaments with Pat if he has some opening in his schedule. But I don't have any scheduled with him yet. But I'm playing a lot this year. I'm gonna play a lot with. I'm gonna play some with Decol, some with Andre, that you will see me next week in Atlanta. I'm gonna play also with Eric Lang as well, obviously with MLP. So I'm mixing around, and some other players as well. So, we'll see how I do by mixing up a little bit instead of playing with the same constant player.
You've been mixing up just because you're trying to look for who do you gel with most, and then probably you'll stick with that person once you guys get a W.
And also, it can get tricky when you're playing with the same partner. You build a good chemistry. You can play very well, but you also can ruin that friendship and that partnership in a certain way. So you gotta be very careful and have at least the same mindset, being on the same page. So for me, that's what I wanna do, and there were some things like that playing with Tyson was great, and it was also tough at times. So I wanted to make sure that this year I had that flexibility, like a way out kind of, because I'm that kind of players that once I commit, I'm gonna commit until the end. I'm not gonna bail on you, and we know we're gonna fight until the end. But that's why I didn't want to commit as far as I did as last year with Tyson, for instance.
Yeah, we've had DJ on the podcast, and we've spoken with him about how he plays right and how now he's a right side specialist. We usually would see him most of last year on the left. And he was talking about, and we were talking about how your main shot is your backhand in the middle. That's your strong suit. And we were like, well, if you guys were to play with DJ on the left and Jay on the right, it would cause this clash in the middle. So I totally see what you're saying about like figuring out what works with a partner and how it can cause a clash. Because though Tyson can play both sides, I think historically Tyson's been a left-sided player. So I could see where it would be like you couldn't be on the same page at times as well.
Yeah, no, and again, like, there are a lot more than just game style. I feel like there is also your goals, what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do, your vision of the team as well. If you can have two amazing players playing together and not being on the same page, and that's gonna result in chaos. And I think I don't want to name any team, but like we have seen it a little bit this year with certain teams, and when it's like that, it's better that you find like the right person that fits your game. And sometimes having an amazing player next to you doesn't mean that it's the right fit, pretty much. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, again, like for me, playing with DJ, I did enjoy playing a lot with DJ this year. Yes, he's focusing more on playing on the right side, which I think it's a very smart move, because a lot of players are naturally playing on the left side. So if you can play right, you give yourself more options to play with more players, and also that you want to excel at something. And I think he's a great player. He has a lot of power. He can play both sides very well. So if he's dedicating to one side, he can really bring the best of his game by just focusing one side instead of both sides.
Specialize in it. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and you and Andre played together once this year. I believe that was in Daytona. So you're kind of getting used to each other, figuring it out. Do you know who's going to play what side coming up in Atlanta?
Yeah, actually when we played together, I felt like we played very well. We had a good first round, and then lost to DJ and Zane. And we were just liking kind of play time together. But then after, in the back draw, we won everything to finish fifth. So we went undefeated after that. So that was pretty positive, beating some good teams. So our plan in Daytona was whoever was playing better at the moment on the time was playing left. So there were some matches where Andre was playing a little bit more on the left than I was, and there were some matches where I was playing more on the left as well. So it just again, I feel like Andre is a very good, very, very strong player in terms of being able to adjust his game to play both sides and being very consistent. So, I'm very excited to play with him again in Atlanta.
Yeah, and also switching it up. I mean, both you guys are super solid. Andre's a beast, especially lately. I know he's over on the APP side, but absolute beast. It's really hard to hit him the ball and win the point. I mean, you got to just get it away from him. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like the APP has been helping him a lot in terms of confidence, because he has been really performing so well there that I think he trusts his game more than anyone right now. So it's, again, very excited to play with him.
Yeah, so are we. And I think it'll keep people on their toes if you do end up switching it up a little bit during the tournament between left and right. I don't think people are going to know what to do. So I can see you guys going pretty far. And you did well with DJ in this past tournament too. I know you were just short of bronze, but you guys had a good run. It was fun watching. My favorite match actually was against Deckel and Callan. Because you guys were, you got creamed the first game, and I'm like, what is going on? You just weren't really playing your game. And even in the beginning of the second game, I thought maybe it was over. And then what did you guys change to turn it around in the second game? I think you were down, 3 or 4-0 again in the second game. What did you guys change?
Yeah, no, I feel like, this was, for me at least, when I was playing my best pickleball, is when I was really trusting my game and understanding what was going on. And it was funny because we were, I think by memory, we lost 11-3 or 11-4 first game, something. It was pretty bad, but I didn't feel too worried about it. I just felt like they were playing just simply better, and we were having the wrong game plan. So going into the second game, I talked with DJ. We were talking a little bit of strategy, and we reassessed our game plan, and we made the switch, and it started working better. I was actually a little bit surprised that Deckel and Callan didn't make that much changes in the third game. I was expecting that they were going to try to do something different to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, because we were going into a good run. But yeah, I felt like once we were starting playing better and we had a better game plan, we both elevated a lot. Like, DJ was barely missing at that point. I was seeing a lot of balls, and I could do my thing and move the ball around a little bit, and I felt better and better through the match. So again, I was very happy with that match. Where going into the semis, it was kind of the same thing. It's just we never found it, and we were never able to turn it around. They were just simply better than us the entire time. So it was tough.
Yeah, they played JW and Dylan played insane in that game. It's funny because it was on it. Sorry, you go.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was gonna say I was so confident for them that they were gonna win the final after their performance against us, and
right?
It was totally two different players against Riley and Matt. So I don't know. I guess Riley and Matt are more intimidating than DJ and Jay, but I was very surprised by the amount of unforced errors they made comparing to what they did against us. They were playing very well, especially JW, because we were targeting him a little bit, and he did an amazing job at not missing pretty much. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, they played insane. All you had to do was just give him a finger wag, Matt Wright finger wag, and it would have sorted everything out. They'd have been intimidated. You guys would have taken over. But that's not Jay.
Yeah.
That is not Jay's personality at all.
No, I don't. I don't do that often. You have to push me in my limits if I am going there.
Speaking of pushing limits, just a quick insert here, because I feel like nobody talked about it on podcasts. Nobody's heard about it since. And I can't remember exactly what tournament, but you were playing against Tyson McGuffin. There was this whole drama around it. You guys had been doubles partners. You guys were doubles partners in that tournament, if I'm remembering correctly. The whole serve drama.
Newport last year. Yeah.
Wow, was that a year ago?
Yeah, it was at the end of the year last year. I somehow I knew you were probably gonna ask me something like this, so yeah, it was a tough tournament. I think a lot of us were kind of tired and exhausted from playing, but it was annoying because what happened was the court was a little bit smaller than what it should be. So I remember being up 10-6, I think, and I had that game point, but I was not able to close out, and then Tyson got the ball back and starting pretty much serving lights out, and I was not able to return. So I did complain to the ref about just to see how high he was serving, and the ref said it's very high, Jay, but I can't overrule. And from there, it's escalated a little bit. I was to be honest, more upset at the referee than at Tyson itself. Because, again, Tyson pushed the limit and everything with his serve. But at the end of the day, it's the referee that has to make the call and the decision. What I was upset more is that he was so indecisive and not willing to take actions. Even though he thought it was high. It was like, I felt like he was fearing, I don't know if he was fearing the name Tyson McGuffin or if it was, I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what was going on on the ref's perspective, but when I started the second game, I said, if he's not going to call it, I'm going to do the same thing. and I started doing it higher and higher. And I just wanted to make a point that you need to do your job and call. This is a money tournament. We're all fighting for providing for our families, and we just want fairness in the game. And I started serving very, very high, and he still didn't call. So that was like the main point. But unfortunately, it didn't solve anything, and it probably didn't help me and Tyson the next day, 2 days later, to play together. But again, like I said, it was not against Tyson. It was more about respecting the rule and pushing on the referees to punish these kind of actions and make changes. But
they need to have a defined rule, because it doesn't really make sense that it's just a reserve. And I remember he told you to reserve the ball, but never Tyson. And he told you to reserve it after you hit it out, which made no sense at the same time.
Yeah, so
it's like,
so again, like
foggy.
it was funny because I was serving pretty high at that point. At that point, mentally, I was kind of gone a little bit. I was not in the match anymore. I was more into fighting my own fights and proving a point, sadly. But I was serving pretty high, getting short returns from Tyson, and not even capitalizing on that. I was like, come on, I'm getting what I want, but I can't even win like that. But anyway, so I was serving higher and higher and missed that serve, I think, by probably 3 feet long. And he said that the serve was illegal, so it was a redo. So obviously that didn't... Tyson was not very happy with that. It was pretty funny. It was a pretty funny situation at that point for me, because I was just like, where are we right now? As the rules are all over the place. The referee was panicking. You could see he was like, this was a semifinal too, so he was just like, oh my gosh, what's this going on? What should I do? It was pretty epic.
Jay, and you mentioned family, providing for your family. I'm interested because I have 4 kiddos of my own. I go out and play rec with my wife. I'm interested if your wife plays with you at all, and if you've got any of your kids to start playing pickleball.
Yeah, my wife, actually, you might know that, but in 2021, she played a tournament with Eric Lang in Bend, Oregon. So she likes pickleball. She plays pickleball. She's pretty good in pickleball. She's not interested as of now to join the tour and play and travel full time. I'm not sure she will ever have that interest, and if she does, great. But yeah, no, she loves pickleball, so we do play sometimes together. She actually helps me a lot with my training, and I do get the kids on the court as well. So play a lot of tennis with them, a lot of pickleball, soccer, different sports, and just get them to do whatever they want to do and what they enjoy. And then from there, if they want to keep pushing, let's say pickleball, we'll push pickleball. But I'm not going to force them to go into one direction. I just want them to be happy and enjoy sports as much as possible.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the same page. I've been on the same page for a long time. My wife and I decided a long time ago we're going to let the kids decide what they want to do sports-wise. Even though every night I pray that they'll find pickleball and turn it into pickleball. But I let them play what they want, and eventually, and some of them like playing pickle right now. A couple of them are really into tennis right now. One plays basketball also, a little bit of lacrosse. I'm letting them do what they want, let them figure it out. So we're on the same page there. But that's really cool that your wife plays. Does she have a tennis background or?
Yeah, she was very good in tennis as well. She got some WTA ranking, few points, and then decided to go to college in FIU, and so she was actually the one convincing me to go to the US. I had growing up, I had zero intention of coming to the US and playing here. I wanted to try to play professionally and everything, and when I went to Miami to visit her, she convinced me, and I decided to make the move to the States. So yeah, without her, I would not be in the state, and I would not probably be playing pickleball. So.
All right. Well, we're thankful for her. Glad that you're here, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna change topics again for just a second to talk about MLP. St. Louis Shock. You guys have a really solid team. First question I want to ask is, what do you think is going right with your team? What are some things that you love and you don't want to change about your team going into San Clemente?
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of people really underestimated our team a little bit. In Mesa, we should have gone through the group if it would have been by game differential. Unfortunately, it was point differential at the time, so we didn't make it through. But we did very good after in Daytona. So I feel like the key to our success and how good we have been doing as a team is again I chose players with the owner at the time when we were building the team. The idea was to bring players that were willing to compete, that were team players, and that we're gonna give it all no matter what. And I think Alice and Simone from day one have been doing exceptionally well. They were playing with a lot of fire. As you know, Alice is a scrappy player. She will do whatever it takes to win, even diving at times. So, that's what we wanted. And then the experience of Simone was great for us. So yeah, I mean, we've been very blessed to have those two playing together so well and helping us to do great. And then on the men's side, I feel like me and Eric would have been a tough matchup. I know a lot of players have never seen us play together at the time, but I was thinking we're two big guys and we can cover a lot of courts, so I thought it could create some damage. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing with Eric, and all four of us have kids as well, so we all understand that the sacrifices of traveling and fighting until the end. So I think all those components together, and also having a team owner that is so committed and willing to he's pushing us in a good way, not in a pressuring way, but like he wants us to do well. I think all that together has made our team very solid, and I look really forward to San Clemente, because I feel like every time we step on a court, we're a little bit stronger every time. So hopefully we can do better than last time, and this time get to the semis at least, or even better.
That's what I think. I think you guys are getting meaner and meaner, and now this is third time's the charm is the phrase. I don't think anybody's counting you out by any means. You definitely have a chance to get there. What's something that you would change, or maybe something that you as a team or you personally have been working on, so that you can get that extra edge and maybe just get that a little bit farther in San Clemente?
Yeah, I think there are several things that I needed to do and that we needed to do as a team. Personally, my first experience in Mesa was pretty strange. Just rally scoring. You have to actually change your game a little bit. Personally, I thought because every point counts, so you can't be as creative and as offensive at times, but you don't want to be too passive. So it's finding that middle line. I think that was I was missing that a lot in at the first event. I felt I did a better job in Daytona, and I think as a team, it was the same. Simone had been playing MLP the year before, but Alice hadn't. So I felt like it was just making all the players being on the same page and how to be prepared as efficiently as possible for just a game to 21. Because, I feel like, again, this is my personal opinion, but once you're down few points in MLP, it can be very tricky. If you're down like 5-1, 5-0, or you have a slow start like that, it can be very tricky, and it can cost us a match right away. So you can't have a slow start. You have to be really on your toes right away. And I felt that was something that we can all do better, and I think that's what we are all trying to prepare to be better, and as well as singles at the end, because again, from my experience of MLP, the first time, the single was not as important as this year, because the matchups are so close. And again, having a 21-point rally scoring goes so fast that you will see often ties, and then singles can become almost mandatory. You have to be at least be ready to perform there as well. So
Yeah, and Elisa's game has improved as far as singles go too throughout the year. So it'll be really exciting to see San Clemente. I see even closer games if we're able to see that. I mean, it seems like every game, and Austin's mentioned this a bunch, every game ends up being, some of them end up being 23-21, or if it's 21-19, whatever, it just ends up being really close, and I think it'll be even closer this time around. What do you think, Oz?
Yeah, it's really interesting with rally scoring. We've done rally scoring tournaments, and it's a totally different tournament. And then we went into like a dream breaker majority of the time, and we're all playing singles. It tends to go that way majority of the time, just because it literally is every game. We had a couple that were 24-22. It's just how it goes. I was actually going to mention Elise Jones improving her singles game too, because she really impressed me the last MLP with her singles game. I thought that she did really well. I think she had a couple of dives as usual.
Yeah, I think she's underrated a little bit on the single aspect, just for the reason that she wasn't playing much, but she's so quick and athletic that she can cover a lot of court, and it compensate a lot for her length and her strokes on the baseline. But still, she's so athletic that she can be so tricky to play. You will really have to beat her, and when you're giving that kind of pressure to your opponent, you never know. They can break down at any moment, and it's only 4 points, so it's a stressful situation for everyone. So I think, I think that's the kind of players that you want in your team and not against you in general.
Yeah. That was really well said, especially because she's 5'2", and she can still cover so much court because she's diving. It makes her like 6'2" when she's diving. Okay, one more MLP question for you. What are your predictions? Obviously, you guys are getting the W. I would hope that's your prediction. But what are your guys' predictions for second, third? Who's right behind you?
Again, I'm not this kind of guy that like to give, kind of an outcome right away. Like even for us, I always say one match at a time. Our goal is to win every match in the group, so we can finish top 2 right away and get to the semifinal right away. That would be great. That would be a great achievement for us. I think, there were some trading that will make teams better. I think one of the team that is going to be more dangerous, that I felt had kind of no chance of doing well, was, I'm not familiar with the team, but it's Matt that just got transferred, that is going to play with Lucy, Callie.
Milwaukee Mashers.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Mashers. I think they're going to be much stronger now, just for the reason that I think Andre and Callie would be a good mixed double matchup. Obviously, Matt and Lucy plays together a lot. They've been playing for years, so they're going to be very strong. Andre and Matt in doubles must be strong as well, I would think. So, and then obviously Callie and Lucy plays together. So I don't know. I think I would see one of those team maybe being in the top 3 this time and creating that surprise for where they weren't doing very well to doing well. I also think Ben's team is always strong. I felt like Megan has played tremendously good lately. She has been very, very solid, plays dinks better than ever. She has made some finals. She's coming with a lot of confidence. And we have seen the duo between Ben and Tyler being very successful, having a righty and a lefty together. And the only concern I would have would be Eda. And again, Eda, it's not about her game. It's just she has been having some... In the last few tournaments, she was not playing. I felt like I'm not sure really what's going on, but I'm wondering if she has an injury or some little issue that could cause them to not perform well. But I think if she's healthy, she's very strong as well. So I think I would see this team being top 3 as well. And then maybe lastly, another team that is very that we can't take out of consideration is always Catherine's team that won the first one. I felt like on paper they're very strong. It just depends how Thomas is going to be as well, health wise, and if his wrist is healthy. But I think those teams have a good chance of doing well again, in my opinion.
Hey guys, real quick, as you know, we don't run ads and we don't sell anything. So the only ask that we could ever have of you guys is that you help us spread the word on this podcast so that we can help more pickleball players improve their game. The only way that we can do that is if you guys can rate and review this podcast. So if you guys can literally just take 10 seconds and leave us a rating, it would mean the absolute world to me, and more importantly, may change the world for a fellow pickleball player.
One thing I would say about the Milwaukee Mashers is, yes, they're a really solid team now, but if it goes to a dream breaker, I don't see them winning. They got to win before it gets to a dream breaker, especially if Matt's playing singles. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tricky part of it, right? You have those players, a little bit older, like Matt, that you kind of take out of consideration in singles kind of right away. But, Matt has a very good drive. He serves pretty big if he wants to. So for singles, he can just strike and drive, and it could be 4-0 very quickly or 0-4 very quickly. So it's the kind of players that can over deliver and under deliver, but you should have zero expectation kind of in his singles game. But he can give you 1 or 2 points. And Lucy used to be very good in singles as well. I remember in 2019 when I was playing, she was playing final at TOC against Simone, and she was very good. I know she doesn't play as much, but I think, again, for 4 points, she can be dangerous. And as we know, Callie is very athletic, move well. Andre is a big guy, move well. So again, 4 points. If you make that matchup against anyone, I think they can be dangerous just for the reason that they have to play only 4 points. So again, I agree with you. If it goes down to single, it can get a little bit more shaky, but I still think they can get some good result and maybe create upset in singles.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. They're not getting past the shock, but they'll probably do pretty well.
We'll see. We don't want to go to the single anyway. We want a clean win.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Any win I'd be happy with. All right, not to beat a dead horse here. I always loved watching you and Pat play. Is there any chance, we've talked about PPA, we've talked about your partnerships coming up. Is there any chance of seeing you and Pat play together again?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Pat is a very, very good friend of mine. Maybe I'm just talking. It's maybe one-sided. I don't know. I love Pat. We have been. I've known Pat for a long time. We played tennis together when I was in college. He was helping me out. When I launched the pickleball leagues, he was helping me out to play pickleball with me. And then we started playing tournaments together. We still train together here in Wichita, so we're often together. So maybe we'll play 1 or 2. You never know. It just depends on a lot of things and how we're playing and things like that. But it's not something that I don't consider and say no. But yeah, no. I mean, for me, like I said, like the main focus for me is to be the best player I can be, work as hard as I can do, and if the partnership happens, I will be super happy to play with him. And if it doesn't, well, I'm just gonna be fighting and keep trying with different partners to see what works best and how to perform at the highest level.
I like it. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Hopefully it happens again. Couple more questions here, and then we're going to go into a segment that we're going to title 10 Questions with Jay. But who would your ideal mixed doubles partner be if you could pick from anyone? Who would you pick?
Again, like honestly, for mixed double, I really don't have a choice. Like, oh yeah, I would want to play with that person. It would be silly for me to not mention Annalie right now because she has been performing so well. since our partnership debut with Ben. But I have played with. I was lucky enough to play once with her in Vegas, and I was definitely amazed by her maturity for being only 16. I think she's an amazing player, and all the success she's having and how she's containing everything. I'm very impressed by that, and I respect it. But I haven't played with Catherine in an official tournament. I think I played only once, and it was like at my debut. So I would like to play one with her for sure. I'm excited to play one with Anna Bright. I'm gonna play with her in Beer City, so that's another one that I'm excited to play with. And who else did I not play with? I think that's pretty much it. I think I've played with all the other players. I've been mixing around with so many mixed doubles players that I don't have kind of a favorite players to play with, but I enjoy mixed, and as long as they're giving their best, I just love competing with them.
Yeah, I'm sure they like competing with you too. I loved watching you and Jesse play together also. So I live in Vegas. I'm from Vegas, and it was fun watching you two get gold. Not this last year, but the year before. I think it was somewhat of a kind of a shock for everybody. Didn't see you coming, and then you guys kept playing solid after that too. So always enjoy watching you two play together. I don't know if there's any more there. One more topic, which seems to be coming up a lot right now, is the need for singles in pickleball. I want to get your opinion on. I mean, I don't think it's going to go away, but the topic's out there, so we'll talk about it. Do you think singles should go away? Do you think we should focus more on pickleball singles? Do you think we should focus more on doubles? What are your thoughts there?
Well, they're different. As you said, there are a lot of questioning behind it. I personally think singles is great. It's a different event. One of the biggest problems of singles is that it is compared too much to tennis. People expect it to be like tennis, and then they're kind of disappointed, and they think like, oh, this is a copy of tennis. It's not as fun. It's boring. I also feel like it doesn't translate very well on TV yet. I think we'll need a better angle that shows the athleticism of the players and how hard it is, because I personally feel like singles is way tougher in pickleball than tennis, and I can say that because I've played both sports. Right. And the reason behind it is that you're staying so low constantly, and it's so explosive, so intense for a few seconds, and then you play all day as well. In tennis, you play one match, and then you have time to recover, and you play the next day or 2 days, depending on how big the tournament is. So you have more time to recover. It's more physical because the court is bigger and everything, but pickleball is just very brutal. And so I think a lot of players don't enjoy it as much because they know how hard it is and how not appreciated it is. I'm one of the first one to say it. I love singles. I play singles. But in the same time, I'm just asking myself constantly, why am I doing this? Because you break your body, and then, the next day you have to play mixed doubles and then doubles, and you're so tired, and you're like, oh, if I would not have played singles, I would be doing so much better, maybe. If you can start thinking a lot, like, oh, with this, with that, with this. So it's just, again, like I think a lot of players are in the same position as I am. If you do well in singles, it's fun. But if you don't do well and you burn your body, you're just like, why did I do this? Because, again, it just wastes your energy level for the other events and no recognition on top of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand how much is involved in singles pickleball, especially tennis players who are just barely getting used to the game. Just to go out, let alone the pro level, but even just an amateur to go and play singles and be out there the whole day, if you make it far, and play one match after the other, we're not talking about days apart. We're talking about hours or less apart. sometimes 20 minutes apart. It's a grinding day for sure, and I know I understand completely. I know you're not looking for excuses, but I'm sure it affects your play in mixed and in doubles the following day because you're just beat. So
For sure. I mean, one of my best tournament last year was actually the Texas event that we had with all the tennis star celebrities, and there were no singles. And I hadn't slept because I had just a newborn at the time. But still, I felt fresher than ever. I was like, I didn't sleep, but still, I felt better than if I would have played an entire day playing singles. So, that's for sure. I think Riley was one of the first one to make that assumption of quitting singles quickly and just focusing on doubles and mixed. And it has been very successful for him. It worked well. I'm not ready mentally to not play singles at all because I still enjoy the fact of being alone on that court and fighting myself a little bit through good times and bad times. But it is definitely challenging, and I think a lot of players are slowly shifting their mindset about singles. I mean, we have seen JW not playing that many tournaments this year. He's still playing some, but he's passing in singles, and he's an amazing player. James Inyatovic is doing the same thing. I think more players are considering like just skipping some event at least, or not playing some, just to save energy, because again, we travel so much, we play so much, and then singles is just an additional event that is not that productive for your brand or for your even on a financial aspect, in my opinion. So it's definitely a question that a lot of players need to consider when they start playing.
It's interesting.
Last question about singles. Sorry, Os. One more question about singles, and I'll turn it over to you. So I'm somewhat of an endurance junkie. I'm all about exercise, mainly running. I run a lot. What do you do to prepare for singles cardio-wise? Do you just play a lot of singles and drill a lot, or are you doing something off of the court?
You're putting me on the spot here. You're putting me on the spot. No, it's funny because this is actually the first year I practice singles more. Before I didn't really train too much in singles. The reason behind it was because again, I would always treat doubles and mix more important. I have partners that I have to compete with, and I didn't want to let them down, so I would focus my training way more on that. And singles was just for the fun of it. If I do well, great. If I don't do well, it is what it is. But now it has gotten to the point where all the players are so physical and so athletic that I'm putting way more time off court to train and be more explosive as well. So I do a lot of interval training, conditioning as well, and trying to be fitter because, again, like right now, I'm going to give the example in Charlotte. I just made it just to the quarters, losing to Christian. My first round was three sets. My second round was 3 set, winning 13-11 or 14-12 in the third on a crazy match. And I'm playing Christian Ashlon, and I feel like I'm at just 60%. And again, like it's not an excuse. Like, I was the one playing 3 sets before in the first 2 rounds, So, it's just like you have to be so conservative on your energy because, again, like if you're giving full out and then you're just burned for the rest of the tournament and for the next event the next day. So when I played Christian, I was doing what I could. I could see clearly that he was fitter than me at that point. He had easier round than me because he was good enough to win in 2 sets and not 3. And I felt like coming in with 6 sets and him 4 was making a big difference already. So again, that's what I'm working on right now, on getting fitter and maintaining a high level without feeling that I don't want to be feeling on court that I'm just at 60%, in quarterfinal. I want to be feeling like at least I'm like at 80, 85, and it's going to be happening more and more since the players are getting better and better early on. So that's why I'm working way more now. and really pushing on my conditioning right now more than playing on the court. So
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear your perspective on singles. And I was at PPA Red Rock. You're playing singles against Zane, and you beat Zane in that match, and then you went on to Pablo the next match. Pablo played amazing that next match. But yeah, your court coverage is so good, and when you watch in person compared to a PPA event on YouTube, it's a different sport. You just don't even realize. You're like, holy cow, how did they get to that ball? And you had it with Christian out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It feels so much simpler. I watch a lot of pickleball as well, and when you rewind matches, you don't see as much like the condition. Oh, is it windy? Is there a side that is better than the other? Is it how is it playing? Is it the altitude? Like there are a lot of factors that we can't really see on TV, and we can't really perceive the speed of the ball. Someone that just plays 5 miles faster than another player can turn the outcome totally different. So I feel like all those little details are hard to see and to catch on TV. That makes it more boring a little bit than watching it live, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they need to fix those cameras because at the North Carolina Open, they were horrendous compared to the other ones. The previous tournaments, like the cameras were decent. But yeah, if they can get some tennis cameras in there, that'd be a good tournament to watch. And it'd show people like how much athleticism you guys have because it's really whack.
Yeah.
One more thing on that. I heard you say it at the Red Rock and I heard you say it at North Carolina, and I really love it. But you would walk back to the back fence and you say, "This is my tournament, baby." And then you said it at North Carolina. This is our tournament, baby. This is like your thing to say. Where did that come from? Where did that start?
Yeah, no, I mean, on the moment, every tournament I go to, my end goal is to do as good as I can and win it. Again, you have to be realistic. You're gonna lose more tournament than you're gonna win. Ben and Anneli have been contradicting my theory on this a little bit because they have been winning a lot in the last few years. But still, for in general, when you play a tournament, your goal is to win every single matches, and if you do that, you're gonna win the tournament. But once you start getting deeper and deeper, you need to believe more and more. And I feel like that's what I try to do, to bring the good energy between me and my partner and do whatever it takes to find a way to win, and sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you're playing very good teams, but like, I feel like, again, like watching Riley and Matt's final, in Charlotte really showed that from an outside perspective, I didn't think, and again, I hope they won't take that in a wrong way, but I didn't think they were the better players. I felt they were the better competitors. They wanted it more than J-Dub and Dylan, and they found ways to win it. But I didn't think, I don't know. For some reason, I felt like JW and Dylan were stronger. It's just they just didn't want it as much as Riley and Matt, and that's why Riley and Matt are amazing as a team. They want to win more than anything, and they will do whatever it takes to be successful. So, again, I always try to bring the energy like they do in a different way, and so that's why I'm trying to pump myself up and overachieve sometimes when it's like that.
Yeah, that's such a good mental focus tactic too, and just to actually believe in yourself, because majority of the game isn't even coming down to skill. It's just that actual belief in yourself and confidence that you can beat the opponent on the other side of the net, which I think you're right. That was a good example with Matt Wright and Riley, because going into that, after they played you guys and didn't miss a shot, JW and Dylan, like literally didn't miss a shot. I was like, yeah, they'll take this tournament just like how they took it in Newport. But it was totally flipped around. They couldn't hit a shot in.
Yeah. And I was very shocked by the second game. The first game you can be still a little bit off and not in timing, but then in the second they were up, I think 7-2, or they were up big, and again, like Riley and Matt took a timeout, and I'm not sure what. Again, I didn't watch the match close enough to see if they made some adjustments strategically, but I'm sure Matt is always a smart player for this, and Riley is very very good at analyzing as well what's going on, and I think once they figure it out, they could turn it around. Maybe I didn't see the finger wig like you said, Spence, but I'm sure all this mental aspect was leading to their success in that final. So
cool. Okay, last section we have is just a quiz for you. Spencer's going to give it to you.
Okay.
And we'll wrap things up.
Go ahead.
I'm going to, don't know how much time you have, so I'm going to try to say, try to answer these in 1 or 2 sentences if you can. It might be difficult with some of them, but these are just a few things we want to know.
Okay.
All right. What grip or grips do you hold?
Ooh. Yeah, that's a tough question. I'm actually working on this. I'm making some switches. I have the tendency to have a little bit more continental grip on forehand. But I'm switching it around. I'm messing with it right now. So, I'm trying to go more to the pickleball style and not tennis style where you're switching for forehand and backhand. So, in process right now.
Okay, in process. Yeah, our typical answer we get is continental. I hold continental all the time, but I know that there's some Eastern in there too. And then there's weird grips like Riley's. But anyway, what is your pre-game warm-up routine?
It's actually a long routine. When I wake up, I will stretch. The first thing I will do is I will actually stretch. Then I will have breakfast. Then I will do my dynamic workout, warm up, and then I will head to the court. So usually when you see me coming to the court, I have already spent an hour before an hour and a half. I've been already working out, and then when I am on site, I'm just gonna come like just jumping on court right away. So a lot of people think, oh, Jay, he's just jumping on a court right away, but I actually do a long routine before that. That helps me get ready, especially after a long day of singles. Again, I need it more than anything.
Cool. And how do you fight nerves playing on such a big stage? What do you do for nervousness, if there is any?
Again, like for me, whether there is one person watching or 500 person watching or whatever is the number, it doesn't really bother me. I don't really care about that much. What I like though is when there is a big crowd and the energy and they're into it, I like to push it. It kind of drives me to play better a little bit for that reason. I feel like, you kind of have to give your best for you, but also for them, because they're paying to come and watch. So I like big crowds for that. So for me, the nerves, there is not like the people watching. The nerves would be more like if I'm underperforming on my end, is how to control myself to not turn to a negative spiral and find a way to play better and elevate my game as quickly as possible. So again, like for me, I have several techniques that I used in tennis that works well. But it's more fighting myself than, the external factors. It's more internal for me.
I like it. What would you say is your greatest life achievement?
My kiddos, having a family, I have 3 boys. Hopefully, we're probably gonna try to have a 4th one and to get the daughter. If we get the daughter, that would be amazing. If we have another boy, we're cutting it no matter what. Four is a cap. I mean, I'm sure you know what it is. You have 4, so I think that's my biggest achievement, because whether I do well in sport or life in general, at the end of the day, family is what matters the most to me. So, I'm just blessed that my wife is so supportive and my kiddos are just, I just spending time with them is just a blessing. So that's definitely my biggest accomplishment is my fam.
I love that, man. Me too. What's your favorite pickleball shot and why?
My favorite pickleball shot, I would say the Ernie misdirect or something like that, like where something that people don't expect. I love that when you're making people play over players look silly a little bit. I enjoy that a lot because when they make you look silly, it's always like mentally more frustrating. So I enjoy to make them feel like, you know, I got you. You know, that kind of that kind of feeling more than a specific shot. But it's more for the fun of it, to be honest. Not like anything personal or anything like that.
Yeah, not in a mean way. I don't think you have a
Yeah.
mean bone in your body.
It really doesn't.
All right,
It
what
depends.
would you say?
Depends if you're, you know, I always try to be nice to people that are nice to me, and you know, some people think it's fake. I've just been taught all my life, like if you're nice to people, people will be nice to you, and that's what I try to do. And if you're on my wrong side, I'm not the nicest guy, but there are very few people that are on that side. So
One quick insert is throughout this interview, I've been really impressed with just the type of guy that Jay is. Because you don't see that out on the court. You don't see really the player's personality. Of course, there's post-match interviews, but it's like 2 questions and then they're out. And a lot of these people never see how these players are. But yeah, I can just tell you're just such a genuine guy and such a good guy. So that surprises me that people are like, oh, it might be fake. You can totally tell it's not fake at all.
thanks, I appreciate that, Os. Thank you.
Yeah, it's genuine. All right, what's the most difficult part about being, if you had to choose one thing, most difficult part about being a professional pickleball player?
Oh, that's a long. I mean, that's gonna be a long answer here.
One thing.
No, okay. I would say travel. If it's one thing, it's travel.
Oh, yeah.
Travel is it's the most challenging for me. I love traveling. I'm a big fan of traveling, but traveling like to tournament, not have time to visit because it's, you know, this is my job. This is what I do. A lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, you're going to Boston. Oh, you're going to Atlanta. You're going there. But most of the time when I go there, I'm spending time away from my family to provide for my family. This is my job. I'm very committed. I'm training. I'm not really vacationing and visiting places. I'm more there at the court, and that's it pretty much. So traveling can get very exhausting, and you know, I don't know if you saw yesterday, for instance, I was coming back from Richmond, Virginia, flew to Dallas, and my flight was delayed 2 hours, arrived at 2:30 at home in the morning. My luggage are lost right now. So, you know, things like this, it's a travel nightmare, and it happens constantly. So I'm just, this is the only thing that I really hate about is flying in and out from everywhere. So.
Okay, final question. What advice do you have for a young kid who's looking to become a pickleball pro?
Yeah, you know, my biggest advice is pick a player that you like, that you feel like your game is similar to. Try to, you know, copy a lot of the things that this player do well, and then build your own identity through it. And you know, don't underwork. Like, you want to be a work alcoholic a little bit. You just wanna. Did I say work alcoholic? I think no, workaholic.
Workaholic.
Yeah. I think I said work alcoholic. No, you want to work. You want to, you know, give your best every day and get better, and you know, believe in the process, because players that wins a lot, they always started by losing first, and you know, you just want to get better and better to be the best person and best player you can be.
Great answers.
But don't be a work alcoholic.
Well said.
Hey, let the viewers know, where can people find you on social media, Jay?
Yeah, you can either find me on my website, that is pickleballj.com, Jay. So, you know, very simple. I do sometimes. I'm doing a lot of clinics this year, but next year I'm not gonna teach as much. I'm gonna do more getaways where, you know, I'm gonna try to do it in France and over different countries as well. So I'm not gonna be teaching as much. So if you really look to to have an experience, to be around me and learn from me, that's the best way to do it. And then on Instagram, it's Devilliers Pickleball, and same for Facebook, so you can find me there.
Go follow
Go
this
out there
man.
and find him. Yeah, follow him for sure. Hey, we really appreciate your time, Jay. Thanks for being you, for being genuine, for coming on with us, for sharing your pickleball knowledge with us pickleheads. We appreciate you.
No, thank you for having me. It was fun, guys.
All right, pickleheads. See ya.